Well, thank you for joining us. My name is James Buckley. I'm the Public Relations Manager for the Christ Hospital Health Network, and we are pleased to announce Phase 3 of Project Heart Restart, putting AEDs in first responders' vehicles, whether it's police departments or sheriff's deputies. So we started over in Hamilton County just last summer, and we are expanding now to Northern Kentucky. So to talk about where we've gone from Project Heart Restart through Phase 1 and Phase 2, I'm going to introduce Debbie Hayes, the President and CEO of the Christ Hospital Health Network.
Thank you, James, and welcome to everybody today. This is an amazing day because a couple of years ago, we know that there was a very momentous event here in Cincinnati. And based on that event, there were 2 phone calls made, which started a process that we are now expanding into the 3rd phase. So I'll talk about that in just a minute. So first, I want to thank everybody for being here again today, including members of the Northern Kentucky Rotary Clubs, the Rotary Club of Cincinnati, Representative Kim Moser, who will speak later, the members of Avive Solutions, Chief Mallerie of the Florence Police Department, my esteemed colleague, the President and CEO of St. Elizabeth, Garen Koenig, Mayor Julie Abishon from Florence, and a number of others who are really interested in how we help our communities. So maybe just a little bit of history. Back in 2006, based out of a discussion at Leadership Cincinnati, there were 2 women, one by the name of Lori Nippert-Leonard, one by the name of Susan Croucher, who identified way back then when automatic external defibrillators were really just coming onto the scene, a need in the community to help organizations put AEDs in their institutions to make their community safer, whether that was a church or a school or a number of other organizations. And out of that started what we call Project Heart Restart, so all the way back in 2006. And so the Christ Hospital Health Network has been putting AEDs in community institutions for many, many years. Now, we all know the story of Damar Hamlin. Almost 2 years ago now, when Damar went down at the Cincinnati Bengals game, he was saved by the use of an automatic external defibrillator. And had they not used that, it is likely that Damar Hamlin would not have survived, and many others would not have as well. And there was a phone call that was made after that, asking Steve King and the folks at the Rotary Club of Greater Cincinnati, how can we do better on behalf of the community? And then a second phone call was made to the Christ Hospital Health Network, how can we work together with our business and community leaders to make our communities safer? So out of all of that effort, and along with a number of civic leaders and community leaders and business leaders, Phase 1 of that project started. And Phase 1 to put AEDs in all of the Hamilton County Sheriff's cars, because it is obvious that our police officers are often the first responders, was completed after we raised about $260,000. And then we said, okay, let's expand and let's keep going, and we raised about another $260,000, nearly $500,000 raised to make sure that all of Hamilton County and the surrounding areas had AEDs in their police cruisers. And so here we are today with the intent of expanding to Phase 3 so that we can now take that learning and take all of those great works, and we've saved patients and families because of it, over here to Northern Kentucky. So today we are here to acknowledge Phase 3, and it is my hope and the hope of everybody that has been involved with this, that this becomes a blueprint for communities across the nation, so that we can save lives by having AEDs with our first responders who are often first on the scene when patients, they become patients when community members go down. So as we begin Phase 3, I'm excited to be collaborating again with our healthcare partners across the river here, St. Elizabeth, with the numerous Rotary clubs in Northern Kentucky, with Avive Solutions to bring these vital pieces of equipment. Now, just to make sure that we're all understanding who's been a part of this, so far we have the Rotary clubs in Cincinnati, the Hamilton County Commissioners, Cintas, Zoll, the Building Healthy Lives Foundation, Lori Nippert Leonard individually, the Gardner Foundation, and all of the Cincinnati-based health systems have all contributed to the efforts thus far. So you can see how a village can make a huge difference in the lives of the people that live and play and work in our communities. At the Christ Hospital Health Network, our mission is to improve the health of the community, and this is just one more way that we can partner with community members all across our region to make sure that every member of this community, no matter whether you live in Kentucky or Indiana or in Ohio, gets the finest possible care, and that starts at the point where patients and families need us most, which is right at the scene. So, on behalf of myself, thank you all for being here. Thank you for everyone that's going to help us. Thank you for everyone who has helped us. And for those that don't know it yet, we'll say thank you to all of those that are going to help us in the future so that we continue to roll this and continue to save lives across this region. Thank you.
Thank you, Debbie. Yeah, this is, as you're going to find out, takes a village to get all of this, all of the funds raised to put these AEDs in these police cruisers. And one of the people I'm going to introduce next is Josh Vogle. He's with Rotary Club of Cincinnati, lives in Northern Kentucky, and has really helped spearhead Phase 3. So Josh is going to be talking a little bit about where Phase 3 goes from here and his personal connections with Project Heart Restart. Josh?
Thank you for everyone for coming today. As I've been a committee member of Project Heart Restart since we started about a year and a half ago, and as we started to finish Phase 2, we started to think about where are we going to go with this. And some folks were like, let's go north, let's go south, and I'm like, let's go south. And I have two reasons why. One is I'm a lifelong Campbell County resident, so maybe I'm a little biased there. The second is because of a tragedy that struck my life when I was in high school. I was at Pendry Park, and I was playing in a baseball game with an individual named Justin Ciccone who stepped in the batter's box, and I was pitching. I struck Justin in the chest with a baseball when he squared the bunt, and I walked down to make sure that Justin was okay, and he nodded, and I turned back towards the pitcher's mound, and at that point Justin fell and went into cardiac arrest and died on the field. At the time, there was not an AED available for Justin, and the officer that responded to the scene did not have an AED either. It took 13 minutes for Justin to get an AED when the ambulance arrived, and at that point, it was just too late. Justin's dad, who's with us today, is often asked over the last 21 years if an AED would have saved Justin's life, and he always says the same response, and that is, I don't know if it would have saved Justin's life, but at least Justin would have had a chance, and doesn't everyone deserve a chance? So as we thought about where we're going to go for the next phase, I thought, let's go to Northern Kentucky. And so I started to contact the Rotary clubs that are in this community, as well as leaders of the community and different donors that we thought might be able to help. So I'm excited to announce the Phase 3 today, and the next speaker will tell us more about what we're doing. Thank you.
Thank you, Josh, and thank you, Rocky, for being here and supporting all three phases of Project Heart Restart. It's been great to work with both Josh and Rocky in raising those funds and having that personal touch and why we want to give more people a chance with these AEDs. Up next is Michael Constantino. He is with Kenton County Rotary Club, and he's going to be speaking with how we get some of these businesses to help donate and hit these goals for Phase 3. Michael, come on.
So as a retired firefighter, I got to see and assist paramedics save many lives with defibrillators over my 33 years of experience in the fire service. I've also experienced using an AED personally at a gym I belong to where the front staff knew right where the AED was. They were able to get it quickly, get it to the person, and we were able to administer shocks, and that person lived. And it was because of the quick action of those at the gym that knew exactly where it was at and knew what to do. So it's just an example of how if they're there quickly, they do work. They really do. So I'd like to thank all of our Phase 1 and 2 partners for getting this great cause started and bringing it to Northern Kentucky. These members of the Cincinnati Rotary Club had a vision They saw it through, and then they passed it on to the Rotary Clubs of Northern Kentucky. The vision was for Rotary across the U.S. to continue this journey to making as many cities and counties heart-ready as possible. Now that we've reached phase 3, I'd like to thank those partners, because without them, we would not have been able to complete this incredible endeavor. Thank you, Christ Hospital, St. Elizabeth, Avive, One Shot Foundation, and the local Rotary Clubs of Cincinnati, Covington, Falmouth, Florence, and Kenton County. If anyone is interested in joining any of these Rotary Clubs, please reach out. These are great clubs doing great things in our community. I'd also like to thank the Northern Kentucky Police Association, which consists of 30 agencies in 4 counties. We asked them to do some research for us to see how many law enforcement vehicles have AEDs in them. They responded quickly, accurately, and the research showed that there was a need for 138 AEDs. These units cost approximately $2,000 each for a grand total of $276,000. Our goal is to deliver the Avive AED units in Northern Kentucky by the end of this year. By doing so, we will be making Boone, Kenton, Campbell, and Pendleton County the first heart-ready counties in the state of Kentucky. Thank you.
One of those departments that's going to benefit from Project Heart Restart Phase 3 will be the Florence Police Department, and I'd like to introduce Chief Jeff Mallerie, who's going to speak about what this will mean for his department here in Florence. Chief?
Thank you all. Thanks everybody for coming. I'd like to start by thanking Christ Hospital, the Rotary Clubs, and all the sponsors who have made Project Heart Restart possible. I'd also like to thank Avive for providing the AED units and St. Elizabeth Hospital for helping kickstart Phase 3 in Northern Kentucky. As you heard, there's 30 agencies across Boone, Kenton, Campbell, and Pendleton County that will benefit from this program. The goal is to have at least every unit that's out patrolling at any given time equipped with an AED. Law enforcement officers are often arrive first on scene when emergency services are dispatched to a cardiac event. In Florence, we're fortunate. Our EMS units are usually right behind us or they're before us. However, that is not the case with all agencies. Particularly those in rural areas or serving larger jurisdictions where response times may vary. Project Heart Restart will especially be valuable for agencies facing these challenges. The availability of an AED is crucial in determining the outcome for individuals experiencing a cardiac event. Research indicates that every minute of delay in the use of an AED can decrease the survival rate by 7 to 10%. So every minute counts. Both law enforcement and EMS personnel are committed to maximizing their efforts to protect and serve the lives of those we serve. The integration of these AEDs will significantly enhance our ability to fulfill that mission. The Florence Police Department is grateful to be among first law enforcement agencies in Kentucky to participate in Project Heart Restart. And once again, thank you to everyone who's contributed to this vital program. Thank you.
Well, in order to expand to Northern Kentucky, you have to have both local and state leaders that are buying into what we're doing here, and we have one of those leaders here today. I'd like to introduce Representative Kim Moser of the 64th District in Kentucky. Representative Moser.
Well, thank you very much, James. Thank you, Josh, for reaching out to me about this project. I really didn't know that this was happening, and I'm very, very excited that this is happening because I actually have a history of having worked on this issue. Prior to my being in the legislature, I was a NICU and flight nurse, and utilized these in the hospital with our patients. And ended up working in the community with the Batson family on Cameron's cause after the loss of their son Cameron, and then I had the privilege of working with the Mangine family as well. It's very, very important that we raise awareness and educate folks on the importance of having portable AEDs. There are many examples across the country of just not having the equipment available, and this is so critical. We know that having AEDs on site will save lives. On a state level, when I was first elected to the legislature, actually putting AEDs in all of the schools across Kentucky was the very first bill that I filed. Now, that was in 2017, and it takes a long time ordinarily to get legislation passed, but these were all unfunded mandates we kept hearing. You know, this is an unfunded mandate, and the schools just can't absorb it. And so we started looking at creating partnerships, much like we're doing here, and really started gaining some momentum. And then, of course, what happened with Damar Hanlon really highlighted the importance of having an AED on site. And so once that incident happened, we were quickly able to really convince folks of the importance of having an AED in every school in Kentucky. And so 2 years ago, we were able to pass the first legislation to require having an AED in every school. Now we have expanded into elementary schools. So this is really more than just having the AEDs available on sports fields, because we know that anyone can go down at any time without any warning. And so I'm very excited to hear of this partnership and the work of the Rotary Clubs and the police departments and St. Elizabeth and Christ Hospital, it coming together in partnership to really make this a reality for our communities. So I just want to thank all of you for the work that you're doing. Thank you for coming south. We appreciate that. I do agree that this is a great blueprint for the rest of the state and really the nation. Having an AED available should be as common as CPR, and just getting the awareness out to folks and helping folks understand how easy these are to use and how life-saving they are is critical. So thanks again for having me. Thank you for your work. I look forward to helping in any way I can. Thank you.
Well, obviously, we need the physical AEDs to be put in the police department cruisers out there, so that's why we are happy that we are partnering with Avive Solutions for Project Heart Restart Phase 3, and I just found out that our next speaker just flew in today. Is that correct? Yes. So I'm going to introduce Mark Peters with Avive Solutions to talk about the company and where we are going for Phase 3. Mark?
Good afternoon. So happy to be here. It's so great to see this type of strategy, I'd call it, to be able to combat, which is arguably one of the biggest issues we face in this country today, which is cardiac arrest. As I hear stories and I think about just the things that we're talking about today, we have heroes in the room. I understand we have survivors in the room. We have people who actually care about the community in the room. We have politicians. I'm a New Jersey guy. I came in today. I've been involved in this fight for about 25 years. And when you think about what you guys have accomplished, I want to just put it into perspective for you. There are large metropolises that have not been able to do what you guys are doing. You look at the likes of some of the biggest cities, the most densely populated areas of the country. They have not even achieved an ounce of what you guys have done with your project. You guys have a lot to be proud about. I come to you after a 25-year fight with a story as well. 2000, December, my best friend died of cardiac arrest playing basketball. It was one of the original big stories of why, when this happened, about parents getting involved. His mother was one of the original founders of a group called Parent Heart Watch, which is very well known nationally. At age 14, I said to myself, why did my best friend die of a heart attack? And I had no idea what a cardiac arrest was. So since then, raising money, being involved, my story got a little bit more interesting. February 25th, 2009, I was a personal trainer in a gym outside of Philadelphia, and I went into cardiac arrest. I was in a gym, I was down for 8 minutes without CPR, 12 minutes without a shock from a defibrillator. I was 22 years old, in good shape, and it happened to me, and they still don't know why. Now, when you think about that story and you say to yourself what you guys are accomplishing and the survivors that are in the room that are still here, you are doing things that are unheard of in many places, and you guys should be extremely proud of yourself. The fight that I've had for the past 25 years has been from now turning this into my life mission and having a career. I've been a part of hundreds of thousands of AEDs being deployed into places throughout the country and the world. And the number one issue that we still face oftentimes is this idea that no matter which way you cut it, in most places, less than 5% of the time, when EMS or law enforcement arrives on a scene, there's an AED deployed on somebody having sudden cardiac arrest. That's an issue. That's an issue that you guys are combating, and I just can't thank you enough for what you're doing. Avive is one of the many AED manufacturers that exists out there. All AEDs save lives, right? You have to understand that. Everybody has a different size, a different shape, a different feel, but at the end of the day, the best AED is the one that's there, that's working. And for the heroes that we have on this side, they're going to be the ones that tell you that, right? When we think about the goal and the mission of what we're trying to accomplish, we're trying to be able to say to ourselves, how do we get those AEDs onto victims faster? How do we achieve what you guys are trying to do every single day? Put them into law enforcement vehicles, put them into sheriff vehicles, make sure those devices are being deployed. Even if EMS is 3 minutes behind you, that 3 minutes matters, right? So I can't just thank you enough from the bottom of my heart. On behalf of Avive, we're so proud to be a part of this program. We can't wait to see the great things that everybody continues to do here, and we're looking forward to being able to help support. So thank you guys very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mark. He spoke about survivors, and we found out there's already several in the audience today, and you're going to hear from another one. Drew Justice knows just how important these AEDs are, and I'm going to let him tell his story. Drew?
Thank you. On July 11th of this past summer, I was attending a Hamilton County Police Officers Association meeting. No, I'm not an officer, I'm just a friend of one. I have friends who are officers, so I go to these meetings with them occasionally. They're a lot of fun. And I was sitting at a table talking to them, and next thing I remember is I'm laying on the ground asking where my beer was. My buddies are like, "You're not getting your beer." I'm like, "All right, I want to go home." "You're not going home." And another friend of mine's like, "Do you know what happened to you?" I'm like, "No, I don't have a clue." And they're like, "You slumped over at the table. We did chest compressions on you for 2 minutes, and we hit you with an AED after 3 minutes. And apparently, when they hit me with the AED, I was up like nothing happened." So I'm like, "We better go to the hospital." So they took me to Jewish Hospital, ran a bunch of tests, determined they couldn't do anything with me there. So I said, "Send me to Christ Hospital," where a week later, Dr. Griffin did quadruple bypass on me, and I'm doing pretty good right now. I am wearing a portable or an external defibrillator right now until they determine if it was an electro issue that caused the immediate stoppage or if it was the blockage or an electro issue. I got that messed up a little bit. But anyways, everybody tells me I was in the right place at the right time, and I was. I'm very lucky. Not everybody can be or will be in the right place at the right time, which is why it's very important that we put these AEDs in police cars, first responder vehicles, and eventually, hopefully, everywhere, because they saved my life, and they should, save a lot more lives if we get them out there. Thank you.
Drew, you look great. Thanks for coming and sharing your story. Everyone now has a story of someone being saved by an AED, and it's not a matter of if one of these AEDs will save a life, it's a matter of when. Our final speaker tonight is going to be, or today, it's not tonight, it's the afternoon, is Garen Koenig. He is the president and CEO of St. Elizabeth Healthcare, and we are very happy to be partnering with him as a Christ Hospital. So, Garen, come on. Thank you.
Thank you, James. First of all, thank you to the Christ Hospital for bringing us in on the Project Heart Start program as it expands over to Northern Kentucky. It's wonderful to partner with Debbie Hayes and her team, especially when it comes to saving lives. At St. Elizabeth, we like to set ambitious goals for ourselves and the communities we serve. Our vision is to lead the communities we serve to become among the healthiest in the nation. Nearly 10 years ago, when we opened our Heart and Vascular Institute, we set a heart goal in tandem with that vision. We said we were going to reduce heart-related deaths in our community by 25% by the end of 2025. And now, only a year and a few months away, let me tell you, we're almost there. And we believe that this program will get us there. In our line of work, it doesn't get much better than days like today. We get to enact programs that we know will have a significant impact on the people we serve. By equipping police cruisers with AEDs in Campbell, Kenton, Boone, and Pendleton counties, this will almost certainly mean less cardiac arrest related deaths in our community. This program will help the Northern Kentucky community, and it may help your mother, your father, or your friend or neighbor. It may just save your life. This is the good part of the day. So St. Elizabeth, we want to thank Josh and Steve reaching out, getting us involved. We want to thank our judge executives. They had a little bit to do with this as well. But St. Elizabeth would like to announce that we're going to gift the first $150,000 to get this program launched. Thank you. That's not all. I reached out to the president of our foundation, and she is going to commit to raising another $150,000 from within this community. And we think the likelihood is great. Thank you. And again, we can't thank Debbie Hayes and Christ enough for including us in on this initiative. Everybody thinks we're, no one would ever thought you would see two signs in the same room at the same time. But I will tell you, COVID did one thing for sure. It really brought healthcare together, because we wouldn't have made it. Thank you.
Well, thank you everyone for coming out. Thank you, Garen. That is a great step for phase 3, and it'll just be a matter of time till we get all of these units into all of the cruisers that are out there serving the community. I want to thank everyone for coming out again. I would like to invite all the police officers, members of Rotary, Project Heart Restart, the hospital systems, and local leaders as well to come up. We're going to take a photo with several of the AEDs. So thank you for coming again, and let's go for phase 3. Thank you.